I can generally do well over half the V2s in my local centre, but less than a quarter of the V3s, and I've been at this level for a while now. So a couple of months ago I decided to do an experiment. I wanted to analyse every single V3 that I couldn't do in order to work out if there's a specific skill or strength holding me back. My goal was to be able to do more than half of the V3s at any one point in time. Right, I'm going to start rolling with sends I've done so far up on the screen. Most of these I could do in a few attempts, though some took a bit longer. I gave myself 1 month to do this challenge, and it pretty much took over my life at that time. The way I used to climb was to try the V3s in a new set, doing all the straightforward ones and sometimes giving the harder ones a quick go. But a week later, a shiny new set would come out and I'd be trying these instead of going back to the harder ones that I'd missed. Now, I've sent the occasional V4 and a couple of times even the V5, but these have always been in the style that I was already comfortable with. So between all the resets, I realise I'm essentially just sending the same style of block that I can already do again and again, and I knew I needed to change this cycle. If there's a particular style of climb that I struggle with, I reckon I'm better off learning that style at V3 level rather than on a V4 or V5 with worse holds and a harder version of that move. We know that we should be working on our weaknesses, but when you feel like you have so many, it's hard to know where to start. I wanted to see if there were 1 or 2 techniques or even physical weaknesses that were stopping me from sending several blocks. I figured if I was to just focus on these, then I'd magically be able to send a whole load more blocks for relatively little time and effort. I started by making a list of the 6 areas that I was including, basically everywhere except the comp wall and rhino, with their reset dates and a list of the blocks in each one. I filmed every attempt on every block, watching them back and making a note of exactly what was stopping me making the next move. This could be a strength or flexibility issue or a fear. The absolute key to this plan was to carefully analyse what I'd done and make detailed notes of the things that I could try or tweak. These were often just minute details that would help me reach that extra inch. My phone was always getting full of clips, so I'd have to go through them every evening, just keeping the most useful ones. This was actually a good thing. Doing such detailed analysis on every block was eye-opening, and the classic climbing skills of finger strength and pull-up strength didn't even feature once. We've got to the end of the blocks I could do. The old me would have just skipped over the ones that are left. Instead, this is where the story starts. I met up with Chris to see if he could help. I've got to the point where I've done 9 out of 26 V3s. There are at least 50% that I've still got here on my notes that seem impossible to me. Let's quickly go around and see if there's anything workable.
Oh, this is a weird one.
On my list, I've written this down as impossible because the first bit looks like a dyno, possibly hanging with your hands, working your feet up, but again, it's very arm intensive.
Yep.
But the end is ridiculous. How is this a V3? You need to stand in there and then reach up to that tiny top hold there.
How are you statically starting the boulder?
I haven't started this yet because I just thought, no way.
Yeah, nice.
I can't reach. Oh, it's lit there.
Yep. That's it. Nice.
I can't do a high leg.
It's okay.
Oh, ow.
Yeah,
this is horrid. I'm too scared. This is shiny, this is Dual Tex.
Yeah, okay. Nice first attempt. That was good.
So I can apparently get to there.
One thing I did notice you didn't do in the end when you're on the wall was smear up the wall. You just went straight right foot to left foot, which I don't think I can do. I haven't got the flexibility.
I don't think I could, but I didn't like the alternatives. It's programmed into me not to basically be relying on a Dual Tex for your life. Yeah. You just slip off it and splat on a slab.
No text in this case is usually intended to prevent use of a particular part of the wall or hold, but in this case it's actively necessary.
Yeah.
So that's a switch that you have to change in your mind, saying I'm going to have to use this. So therefore, how am I going to best use this part of the hold? And you did stay on it for like at least 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Trying to like feel out the position. So it's definitely usable. The last bit is, it's pretty much just a mantle on top of the big hold. Mantling in particular is something you don't really get to experience that much indoors because you don't have many top out boulders.
I'm not going to get better at mantles unless I actively practice mantles.
Yeah.
So is there somewhere I can practice something similar but not at the top of the wall on a slippery?
Yes, any kind of like pushing move. Just simply push-ups on the ground is a good way to practice mantle because that builds chest and triceps. Tuck elbows in.
Yep.
And maybe hands underneath your shoulders or chest.
Right, so if I can do this and practice this, I can do mantles.
And you gradually lower it down
Yeah.
as you get stronger each week.
This is very long term. In a year, I don't want to be using these same excuses for why I can't do things.
Let's have a look at the black.
Okay.
Yeah.
I found this exhausting.
It is 45 degrees.
As I could barely get off the ground on this one, Chris showed me his beta. Nice.
Yeah, maybe the hardest hold is this, definitely.
Yeah.
I think the toe hooks and a heel in here, that's probably the most efficient way of climbing it for a big overhang. Toe hook, yeah, we did the same thing.
Oh, and I'm out.
Toe hooks are better when you have a straight leg,
Oh.
not a bent leg.
Oh.
Bent leg toe
Yeah.
hook is really hard to hold.
It was.
The phrase toe hook says to you should use the tips of your toes.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Use the top of your ankle.
Yes.
It's way better for leverage.
Yeah, that
and
makes
it's
sense.
such a big hold, you can like put your
All right,
foot
I'll
right round
we'll
it.
go at that.
Nice. Yeah, right foot up first, then toe hook. Right in, get it right up. Yep.
I can't. I don't know. I can't.
And then lean back into it and put weight on the toe. Just see if it sticks. Yeah.
That hurts your hip flexors.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't do this. I didn't do this at all because I'm using a muscle that is obviously for me incredibly weak. But that probably ties in with why I've been told ties in with why I have the bad back.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
say weak hip flexors and weak glutes, which I'm beginning to learn are a thing. So rather than just going, I can't do that, maybe I should be addressing these things.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Really good. There we go, it's stuck. Yeah.
Oh, my thighs.
Nice. That's good.
I actually felt that though. That is so good.
Cool.
Oh, my thighs. Oh. We both gotta go. Limping away.
So this bubblegum here is V3 as well.
I've had a few goes. And that's actually the best I've ever done.
Have you tried the bump? Right hand bump up to this?
No.
Just feeling that move, there's a lot of weight on the right hand.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of weight on this right foot.
Yeah.
So if we can make that take even more weight for a split second while we bump the right hand.
Yeah.
Do you want to try that? I think it should be okay for you. Bump. Yeah, nice. I think the theme of this boulder is to go up the right hand side, the big hold with
Okay.
the right hand and lay back
Oh,
until you get to the
okay.
top section.
I mean, I might climb up to that then, maybe, just to feel the
and-
next
yeah,
move.
perfect. Like using extra holds just to get up and feel the next move, next position.
So I got to there.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
And then
nice.
this is where
So
I
keep
come.
bumping it up, the right hand, because it's pretty much the same hold all the way up.
Oh, and I keep swinging off.
Yeah, if you try and keep this arete, because you're using this really well,
Okay.
and just keep bump, and then bump this up, and then bump right up. Yeah, nice. Good, really good, Michelle.
Oh.
Yeah, and maybe use the white as an alternative foot.
I was
Yeah.
sliding the whole time.
That was awesome.
Wow.
That's so good.
Wow. Just getting a little bit of the middle bit of a climb. I'm just like super happy. This was down as impossible. That feels
Now what does it feel
possible.
like? It feels possible, yeah.
Could you show me how this is actually done? You can talk me through
Okay.
it. Oh, you're a lot more to the right.
I think keeping your hips in as well,
Yeah.
over your feet, makes it easier to, so I'm not going to use the white yet.
That's so good. That looks workable now. Thank you. I have just realised something. This is the Magnus Mitbo corner.
It is, yeah. That's where the infamous V6 was set.
Yes.
That is officially the hardest V6. You still think it's a V6?
Yeah, sure.
And this is a V3 that I'm struggling on. So
Well, maybe it's that
maybe
this bit
it's-
of wall.
bit higher. Maybe it's.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is, I noticed that for Magnus you turn the gravity down, but you
Yeah.
haven't turned it down for me.
Oh, should we? We can turn it down if
Let's
you want. Yeah,
turn it
just
down
just
quickly.
to practice this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is on low.
It is
Damn.
already set low, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I've
sorry.
got no excuses. I'll give it one more go because that,
Yeah,
that
sure.
looks really. You made it look a lot nicer. So you went round here.
Yeah, I remember hips in, over the feet on the right.
I haven't cheated yet. Oh my God, I haven't cheated yet. I don't know what to do now.
Yeah. So keep bumping the hands up
Oop,
as high
I'm
as they can
scared.
go. A little bit higher, yeah, and then high left foot inside.
High left foot in that. No,
Yeah.
I can't do that yet. Ah! I actually
nice.
got.
Yeah, the first whole bit of it.
Your body position made all the difference to that.
We could have a look at that orange. That's one of mine.
Are you doing the get in the corner start?
Yes, I can do that, and I can pop
reach
to the
that.
corner. Yeah, but only barely. But it's still just as far away.
Yeah. Or almost, yeah. As you brought this across,
Yeah, push
you
away.
came out. Try it again, but think about keeping your centre of mass, your hips in that corner, and your head in that corner as well.
Okay.
So you
But
get a
you-
lot closer to this handhold before you go to it. Nice, better. I think you get better
Yeah.
the more you do it.
Yeah. So this pink here is another one I find impossible. I can't do the start but can see what to do. I've done a little bit in the middle. With cheating, something like that. And then that.
Yep.
This feels bad. This
Yeah,
feels
nice.
bad.
Nice.
This feels bad. And that's a very long way away and I'm scared.
I think getting comfortable with standing on this is going to be the key to unlock it. It's flat enough for a foothold.
I'm going to watch you do it and then see if the second half is possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The penultimate pinch, getting one hand this way and the other one this way,
Yeah.
but coming slightly below the hold to get round it. To pull myself left underneath the hold, I have my right thumb on top of the bar. So it was quite a
Yeah.
thummy move.
Quite pinchy. I really like this because this whole climb centres around that start hold. And you kind of use it the entire problem.
Yeah, you call that recycling the hold when you're setting. Gets used for a move down low as well as above. The ideal toe hook for you is just slightly out of reach. Nice.
That feels bad.
Yeah, really good rock over.
Oh, that's scary. My arm is out of energy already.
Yeah. When you went to rock over this,
Yeah.
you got your weight way below it and shifted it left over
Yeah.
the left foot. It took pretty much all your weight on that.
I wasn't used to trusting it, so I didn't fully trust it, and I couldn't rely on my left arm because at that point it was jelly.
You can get that,
I can
definitely.
do that.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the blue.
What I wrote in my notes, try again fresh, need power. These are horrible, horrible slopers, and I just keep sliding off in every direction.
Yeah.
I do think a lot of it is exactly how you hold it.
Yeah, I'd say this blue is obviously sloper central. They've recently been retextured, so
Okay.
they're super grippy,
Oh, good.
almost like Velcro. Use the friction to your advantage.
It's so energy intensive that I only get a couple of goes.
Yeah.
It's grippy, but it's bad. That's not too bad. I don't know whether to do a rock over there or a toe, but I always like toes, so I'll do a toe.
Yeah, come on. Nice.
That's all my energy gone. And then, this feels bad. I can't. Oh,
Come on.
I felt like I was using my biceps.
Yeah, the first like full-on try on the first move, it should only get more efficient as you
Yeah.
become more comfortable with the
Okay.
move. The most amount of chalk could give a clue maybe up here,
Okay.
which is slightly higher,
Okay.
which might get you into the next move more easily.
Yep.
That's worth trying. You could heel hook,
Yeah.
but it's harder to actively weight a heel rather than a toe from that angle.
Yeah.
And the other thing is adjusting how far down and close to the wall you start. If you can start even closer and even higher, then it will decrease the distance that you have to pull in and reach.
Very different.
Yeah. That's what works for me for the first two moves. Guppying, use the back of your hand round the other side. Yeah, sort of hug it together. Transfer your weight. Yeah, perfect. I love the change on the left hand to a push.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so subtle.
Using that guppy method, which is like using the back of your hand to cup round the other side, is really good for these holds.
Okay.
Because it gets you close and it gets your pulling force as close to the wall as possible. Gets your elbows in as well.
Was the side of your hand actually on the wall?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. As opposed to just holding it like a normal sloper.
Yeah.
Like this. So much further away from the wall.
Yeah. I want to see the next move now. Oh, that looks precarious a bit.
Maybe you could use this instead.
Yeah. That bit is the bit that looks really terrifying.
The left arete is really good. Using that. You compress this right hand with the left arete. That gets you the height.
I feel like I've been doing arm wrestling with this wall. Right.
Nice.
This feels bad.
Good. Come on, make it work. That's it. Nice, Michelle. Good. Big rock over left. That's it.
And rest.
Nice one. Good.
This feels really bad. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, make the match. Same again. Big rock over left. And you're aiming for the left arete. Yeah, perfect. Then squeeze them together. Yeah, right foot up. That's it. And then hold yourself close to the wall. Yeah, you did it!
I think I did it.
Nice.
Oh my god, that is not my style.
Oh, what a perfect last climb.
That's so good, thank you.
Really good.
With 2 weeks to go, I got to work projecting. This orange was the first one I decided to work on. I must have had around 50 attempts by now and had taken advice from so many different people, but my legs were just too short to get a decent push off. It would be easy to just blame my height and move on, but I wasn't going to let myself. Using the other holds, I tried climbing into a different start position and found I could do the climb from there. I couldn't get into this position without cheating, but at least I knew where I wanted my body to end up. I changed up my beater again, this time trying to statically move up into the corner, using the right start hold to give extra purchase. I could then do a much smaller dynamic push round. A mere 10 or so tries later, and I managed to catch it, the rest was history. Fear played a part in a surprisingly large number of blocks. With repeated attempts, I managed to get a little bit higher on this one, but the fear never dissipated. I didn't trust my triceps enough for the mantle, and trying to get my leg up to the big hold kept throwing me off balance. I happened to bump into a friend the same height as me, and I wasn't shy in asking for her advice. She showed me her beater at first using a tactical knee to get into a good position. I then used some other holds to climb into that position, but it still felt awkward. With my knee trapped there, I felt like I could have an uncontrolled fall, and it was a risk I didn't want to take. Climbing into the end position felt sketchy too. As I get stronger, I know that eventually moves like these will start to feel less risky. Unlike the Red Mantle, there wasn't a strength or skill holding me back from this green, it was just pure fear. I found just the look of it daunting, and so until now I'd only given it a brief go. There were only 3 green holds, the rest were volumes. You had to grapple some of them and stand on the others, and I felt well out of my comfort zone in all of it. Videoing all my attempts and watching them back made it clearer what I should be trying. With every go, the fear gradually reduced and eventually I grew more confident. At this point, everyone else just reaches across to match the end. Old me would have just stopped there, but new me wasn't allowed to. I kept watching and tweaking my beater, trying to squeeze out an extra couple of inches of reach. I tried bigger pops up and tried to hop my leg further to the edge of a volume. Until now, I'd had my left hand over the top of the volume like a poor man's guppy. It gave a lot of support, but restricted how far I could reach across. I realised I needed to manoeuvre my left hand into a push position with my palm against the right hand edge. It was awkward and felt precarious. Every second I was up there felt like a second too long, but I made myself do it. As soon as I did, I sent the rest easily. My friend Julia then had a go. With her palm on the top of the volume rather than on the side, she decided to make a pop for it, and so I got to see how that beater would have worked out. Yes! It's amazing that such a small change in hand position can make such a big difference. I found this black so core intensive, but I kept at it and eventually the toe hook became easier. Although I didn't progress it much further, I did get a lot more comfortable playing around with the different positions. If I keep shying away from blocks like these, then I'm never going to build the strength needed, so I plan to try them more often and just not worry too much about getting the send. On this bubblegum, I could now climb halfway up no problem, but just couldn't get the high left leg. I had so many goes, subtly changing the beater every time. I tried with a higher right hand as the hold was much better there. Pointing my knee right instead of left felt better, but still awkward. I wanted to see if matching the top of the big hold would help. It didn't. I tried with my left hand high on the arete, but found I was too stretched out. Lower on the arete gave my hips more space, but I couldn't push at that angle. My friend Shati helped me out again, showing me her beater. I'd never managed to hold the swing round as it was so core intensive. Her front on body position was interesting though. She did a little palm press here to gain height, and then the high left foot looked effortless. Twisting her knee slightly to the right, she stands up. She matched to the top of the hold, and then a heel hook helps her get the send. I found it too difficult at first to control the swing, but I used a different coloured hold to practice the movement and then later managed to do it from the start. Staying on was so hard though, and every changing body position had a different consequence. I may have had an excessive number of attempts on this block, but it was worth it. I learnt so much about controlling my body using balance, direction of force and core tension to avoid swinging out at every step. If I had more time, I think I would have sent this block, but more importantly, I stopped being scared of it. I had so many goes on this block too, and if I had to pick a point where I'd say my climbing improved, it was working on this one. Just being up there felt scary. The sloper I was standing on was smoother than it looked, and it took a long time for me to figure out the hand sequence needed to move my body left past this pinch. Every second up there, I had to fight the urge to come down. So when I finally managed it, imagine my dismay when I realised I couldn't even reach the final hold. I used the down climb to swap feet and checked I could match from there. I now just needed to work out how to do the foot swap. Everyone else I'd seen had been holding the last hold as they swapped feet, and it did feel unfair that I couldn't. I tried to push against the final hold, but couldn't get enough purchase on it. I tried to push against the wall, but I could only get my fingertips down and couldn't get enough purchase to stop the swing. I had this crazy idea of actually letting the swing happen with the aim of planting my foot down mid-swing, but practicing it lower down made me realise that that would end in tears. The awesome Louis Parkinson saw me struggling and tried to help.
I think your foot needs to be on that before you start trying to go for the finish.
But then he tried it for himself.
I don't think you can. I think you've got to have it first. You're definitely strong enough to do it, but you can jump from there. I think we're looking at V5.
By this point, I'd had so many goes, I could now do the start without cheating and was no longer scared of a move across. I didn't trust myself enough to jump to the final hold, so in desperation, I did something I'm not proud of. I stuck the very tip of one finger in a dirty bolt hole, just a few millimetres. That was enough to give me some purchase to do the foot swap and match the end. Obviously I'm not counting this as a send, but I am happy with just how far I've progressed this block. When I first tried this red, I could barely start it. Again, I lacked confidence standing on the volumes. It felt technical though, and like beater was the key rather than strength. By recording and watching myself back, I could tweak my beater at every step until eventually I could get to the penultimate hold. But here the real problem started. At first I found it difficult to release my left hand to reach up. And then when I managed it, I couldn't even reach the last hold. Shati came to my rescue again and showed me her method, involving a deep flag and a twist to reach. It looked effortless, but when I tried it, I had pain in my wrist and it didn't feel like it would support my weight. I just couldn't find a position that worked. Someone suggested that I use a more dynamic beater, and although it's very effective, I just don't trust myself to try this at the top of the wall. Using dynamic movement to reach the last hold clearly comes up a lot, and so it's a skill I need to start practicing. Julia then tried it with me, and by locking off her arm on the tiny crimp, managed to send it. I gave everything a good brush and gave it my best shot. What I found interesting here is it was getting beta from someone of a similar level to me that helped me send it. Stronger climbers can often use invisible finger and core strength that's not always apparent when you watch them. Get beta from as many different people as you can and be open-minded. I locked off my right arm, crimping hard, gave a little push-up with my left hand, and it went. Easily. This was my 13th true send. With it, I had completed 50% of the V3s in the area and succeeded in my challenge with just 3 days to spare. However, I still came back a couple of days later, and it was here, trying this green V3, that made me realise how much I'd changed. Now, this block was always down as completely impossible. I've not got much footage of me trying it because until that day I couldn't even start it. The only good section of this long hold was in the middle, and I couldn't reach to there. I was grabbing the left bit where I could reach with an eye to then walking my hands along, but that wasn't working. My friend Payal told me where I needed to catch it and showed me her method, which involved exploding up to the hold. Now, she is much stronger than me, and old me would have just laughed and walked away. But she is the same height, and so I tried hard to copy every small detail. Using all my strength, I jumped again, and a few goes later, I actually caught it. This first big move was the crux, and I was fairly confident I'd be able to do the rest with a few more goes. Unfortunately, I then banged my elbow and had to stop there. The next day, the whole area was stripped, which brought a natural end to my experiment. I feel like my climbing is much better now. Although nothing physical has really changed, my attitude to harder blocks is totally different. Where I used to say, I can't do this, I now say, how can I do this? I'm attempting harder blocks and trying harder moves that I would have avoided before. I no longer completely veto what other people call the difficult V3s. I thought it would all be pistol squat strength and general leg strength that was holding me back, but on these specific climbs it wasn't. When the area was reset, there were lows that fit this bill, and when I was editing this, part of me was tempted to fudge it and say, yes, look, it's just leg strength I need to work on. But that would have masked a true problem. I will be working on getting my legs stronger, but that wasn't the biggest factor that was holding me back. People do say climbing is so much about mindset, but until I did this experiment, these were just words. Having 40 or more attempts on some of these blocks has completely recalibrated my brain. Blocks that I used to call impossible are often just a bit tricky or difficult. Someone telling you to be more confident is never going to work. You kind of have to work through this process for yourself to truly get it. If you do, then please let me know in the comments how you get on.